Let's bring in Kellyanne Conway, former counselor to President Trump, president of KA Consulting and a Fox News contributor. So, Kellyanne, the big question is, will DeSantis run, and could he beat Trump in the primaries? Let's put up the results from the CPAC straw poll of a few days ago. President Trump won handily, 62 to 20%. But DeSantis can say, look, I wasn't there, I didn't participate, what do you expect? And CPAC really was a Trump love fest.
Sure. So I wouldn't look at the CPAC straw poll. I'd look at some of these other early state polls. Virginia came out with one last week, for example, John, where Glenn Youngkin would beat Joe Biden in his home state where Youngkin is governor. But in the Republican primary contest, you had something like Trump 38, DeSantis 21, Youngkin 6. So even in a state like that with a popular Republican governor, Trump is dominant. I'm really happy that Ron DeSantis and Donald Trump are out in Iowa and all over this country now, bringing to bear that center-right message of America First policies, of center-right ideas. Contrast that to the two leaders of the Democratic Party, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. It's Friday, John, which means they already stopped working for the weekend. They barely and rarely work every weekend. If you don't believe me, look at their public schedules, folks. They're available to anybody online. So I'm glad they're there. I think that Ron DeSantis has a really great, strong message as governor of Florida. What I do question is why he keeps talking about COVID. I don't think people really want to talk about COVID. A little bit too much woke. I think that this and Trump, of course, a little too much about winning the 2020 election, frankly. I like more insights, fewer insults. I think this race is going to be won based on your economic policies and your plan. I think the reason Trump has been doing even better in the polls lately is because when you want to hire somebody for an important job in your company, in your place of work, you tend to go for people who have done the job before. That's what a lot of Americans are saying. So I think that Governor DeSantis has a lot to add to the conversation. He's been a remarkable governor of Florida. But right now, he's not as known. The YouGov poll, in terms of the characteristics, I was really struck. About 1 in 10 Republicans say they don't know enough about Ron DeSantis to actually render an opinion. So he has the opportunity and the obstacle of a get-to-know-you campaign.
And then that's potentially reflected in our recent Fox News poll. Let's put that up, which found Donald Trump had 43% support among Republicans, Ron DeSantis 28%, Nikki Haley and Mike Pence both back at 7%. But Peggy Noonan had an interesting column in the Wall Street Journal in which she took a look and analyzed what she believes is Ron DeSantis' strategy. Here's what she said, quote, I don't think he's running as Trump without the psychopathology. I think he's running as a serious, forward-leaning, pro-business, anti-woke conservative with populist inflections. His strategy now, draw as much from the Trump quadrant as possible, slowly try to leach him of support. Is that possible? I mean, President Trump's core base of support is rabid, to say the least. Could DeSantis start to siphon away some of that?
Well, rabid's a bit of a negative word, respectfully. I think
I mean it in a positive. Kellyanne, I mean it in a positive way.
Yeah, I don't think you meant it negatively at all.
No, they are fierce for him. They are fierce for him.
They are. But they're also fierce for him. It's not just a personal loyalty. It's actually a fidelity to the issues, to the accomplishments. You know, John, people in this country are suffering economically. We don't have energy independence. We do have 4.5 million people walking over the border. They feel rising costs and rising crime are affecting their personal liberty and their personal pocketbook issues. But I think Peggy Noonan's onto something here. That's a good play for DeSantis. He's going to need to go in and grab some of those Trump voters. Frankly, he's been able to grab some of the more, quote, loyal, rabid supporters of Donald Trump in the Congress. So, for example, Lou Barletta recently came out, he and Tom Marino, congressman from Ken Cuccinelli, who was the number 2 or so at DHS, is now running the pro-DeSantis super PAC. So you're starting to see that at not the grassroots level necessarily, the grass tops. I think that's his play, and maybe his play is generational. These things are really hard. Since you're talking about Iowa, let me make a quick comment. Okay. The Iowa caucuses on the Republican side usually go to sort of the person who's strong among the evangelical base. Mike Huckabee won the Iowa caucus in 2008, Santorum in 2012. Ted Cruz eked it out in 2016. I think there's a real contest to be made. I'm glad DeSantis is there today. I'm glad Trump's going Monday to talk about education reform, because what Governor Kim Reynolds, who should be on anybody's short list for vice president certainly, what she has done with education there is so robust and so game-changing. This parental rights movement is having a renaissance, and in places like Iowa, it's flourishing, where you have these education savings accounts can be used for tuition, backpacks, tutoring, you name it. Really great, and I think the Democrats are on the wrong side of that.
Yeah, I don't know if Kim Reynolds wants that job. I think she's really happy doing what she's doing now. At least that's what she told me when she was here a little while ago. Kellyanne, always great to catch up with you. Have a wonderful weekend.
I'd love to see her debate against Kamala Harris. Let's have her debate Kamala Harris, then we'll see.
We'll see if it happens. Thanks, Kellyanne. We'll see you soon.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.